III has impacted the lives of millions for more than 2 decades. Holding court with achievers and leaders from nearly every profession, Joseph has met and coached the best of the best from virtually every walk of life. People like Academy Award-winning movie stars, major sports figures, business moguls, and CEOs from some of the top companies and industries around the globe. His simple, user-friendly approach to teaching and creating human change is unique to the field of personal development, presented to over 2 million people from 40 countries. He's a best-selling author and has performed countless therapeutic interventions worldwide, helping people rid themselves of the fear and inhibitions that hinder their lives. Joseph holds a doctorate in neuropsychology and taught at the University of Southern California for several years. Why can't people get enough of Joseph McClendon III? The answer is simple. He's got the strategy, the delivery, and the methods that consistently move people to their highest potential. And most of all, he gets results.
Hi, I'm Joseph McClendon III. Look, any and everybody that's ever been successful at anything in life has always had a coach, a mentor, or a teacher that they've allowed that coach, mentor, and teacher to guide them and even push them beyond what is comfortable so that they can go further, faster in their lives. This is your opportunity to grow. And not just to change the things that stop you, but also to find and enhance the things that drive you. And with your permission, I would be honored to be your personal coach at this crossroads in your life. Learn the lessons of success and failure and accomplishment now and put them in place. This is your future. And lastly, remember that life is exactly what you dare to make it, and fortune favors the bold. So boldly step up and dare to make your life magnificent. I look forward to seeing you at the top.
Hey everyone, I want to welcome you to the webinar for tonight. This is one that I am super excited for because this is one that we started talking about last week at the live Rippln event. I know we had a ton of you guys there last weekend and you had an amazing time. We all had a great time. I think we had a lot of people that came. It was interesting. We had groups of people who came that were kind of skeptical. We had groups that were excited, but everybody left just pumped up and excited to keep growing the ripples, and it's been exciting the last couple of days since we've gotten home. And one of the most, I think one of the coolest, most amazing parts of the event was definitely we had a special guest who came in on Saturday night and spoke to us, and the feedback I got from this guest was just amazing. We had people who were crying, we had people who were jumping, we had people that were just all over the place, and it was such a cool experience. And for those who missed the event, I feel bad you guys didn't have a chance to be there, but tonight we have a chance. We're going to actually introduce you to this guy and let you guys have a chance to kind of experience him at a really cool level, and it's going to be really fun. But before we get to that, actually we've got, besides Joseph McClendon on the line, we also have Brian Underwood. And I want to bring Brian out first because, as a lot of you guys know, the way we talked about this before you guys register for this webinar, right now a really exciting thing is happening inside of Rippln. Right now everybody has the chance to power up, which is cool. We've seen people in pretty much every country around the world starting to power up, and it's just an exciting process. And right now this week we're opening up the very first coaching offer. And again, those who were at the event had a chance to kind of see and feel and touch what that offer is and what it can do for their lives. And we wanted to have Brian come on here really quick and just explain to everybody, first off, just really quickly kind of what the coaching offers are, but also why it was so important that this was the first coaching offer and why we partnered with Joseph McClendon to bring this offer to you guys. And that's kind of why I wanted to bring Brian on. So Brian, thanks so much for being on the webinar with us tonight. How are you doing?
I am doing excellent. Can you hear me okay, Russell?
Yep, we can hear you perfect.
Awesome. Well, it's great to be online with everyone, and you're exactly right, Russell. It was an incredible event this weekend, and you know, the Rippln's whole mission and vision is really about the effect that we can create in the world and the ripple effect that we all have on the planet simply by influencing one person. And I think over the course of really the last 90 days that we've grown to 1.2 million people, it's been amazing for everyone to really see visibility on just the conversation of Rippln and how every single one of us has a ripple effect. And we saw that for a lot of us grow not only within our community but throughout the nation and even throughout the world. And I really feel blessed and privileged to be surrounded by so many people that I think share in that vision. You know, one of the the benchmarks that we really are wanting to make sure that everyone becomes aware of is their own personal Ripple value. Because your influence does matter in today's marketplace. It's really the reason why the majority of companies that we've seen in the last decade, it's how they're driven. They're tapping into your contact base, to your social graph. And one of the things that we truly believe within Rippln is that there's three paradigms that are taking place right now. I call it the transformational paradigm. And the first one is transformational learning. And I personally believe that the more we grow, then the more that we can earn, right? The more that we can achieve our financial dreams, but also the more that we learn, the more we grow, the more we have to contribute back to the world and contribute to others. And it's definitely a blessing to be able to not only be working with Joseph, but introduce Joseph to so many people. I've had the privilege and the pleasure of knowing Joseph for years now. He's been a leader and a mentor of mine, and I know that he's been a personal coach for literally thousands, tens of thousands of people around the world, and including celebrities, movie stars in film, even royalty. And that's not to impress anyone, but I think that it's really important for everyone to know, who you're hearing from tonight, because my background has always been athletics, so I've always understood the value of coaching. And one of the reasons we wanted to bring Joseph in first is because of his ability to really, understand what makes people do what they do. And he understands it on a lot of different levels. Number one, just based on his experience and his traveling the world, meeting with hundreds of thousands of people. But, he was also, he has his doctorate in neuropsychology, and he also is a professor at UCLA. So it's pretty neat perspective, because he can come at it from a traditional education perspective, or from an applicable perspective, as he's, like I said, coached and influenced over 3.5 people worldwide, are his audiences. And so with that being said, the E factor, which I'm going to let him share with with everyone, I think is a base foundation for everyone to live a better lifestyle, and just to live, because I think so many people today is we get caught up in doing what we're doing. We forget to really how to live and enjoy life. And really, that's the principle of the Ripple, right? Is the more effective that we become, more time that we have, then the more impact that we can make. And through this incentivized sharing platform, what we want to do is give you an incentive to pay this forward and give people this great gift, because I know that transformational learning is not only important for everyone's future, it's imperative. Because in today's environment, it's really learning at the speed of light. And the way that technology has compressed time frames, it's important that all of us stay on the cutting edge of knowing how to go further faster, which Joseph talks a lot about. So with that being said, Joseph, I know you're on the phone. I've yacked a lot about you, but I love having you a part of what we're doing, and appreciate all the time and energy that you've been spending with us.
Well, first off, thank you so much, and thank both of you, Russ and Brian. I'm, to say the least, extremely excited. And a lot of people always say, well, Joseph, you're always excited, and I am. However, I will say, having come from the event, and I've only been home now a couple days, when I went there, and I shared this with a lot of people that when I got there, I was excited coming in, but I really, to be honest with you, didn't have as good a grasp as I did once I'd been there, even an hour, and I got it. And I'm so over the top excited for several different reasons. And I'm excited for everybody on the call, and everybody that we're about to impact. And at the risk of sounding too noble or altruistic, that is my passion, is to assist as many people as we possibly can to make a huge difference in their life. As you know, Brian, my saying, for lack of a better term, is a better me makes a better us. And together we're going to change the world. And I think that we owe it to ourselves, and we owe it to the public to help people do that. And then the second thing I want to say is thanks for the kind words, and I've gotten some of the feedback from the event as well. And I love it that everybody had a good time, and I love it that they enjoyed the presentation. What I love more is that people took away from, and not just what I did, but people took away from it actionable items and things that they can do that are going to change the quality of their lives. And I think ultimately that's the true value of an event like what we did. And so again, thank you for everything, and I'm going to jump right into it, kind of what this is, and as you were saying, Russell, why at this stage. And by the way, guys, as I said before, please jump in and stay with me through this process. If you guys have questions, they'll probably be the same questions that other people might ask. Well,
one thing before you get started, Joseph, because I know you have spent time with you. I know Russell spent time with you, and I've been familiar with who you are for literally 15 years as a best-selling author. But one of the things that really I gained a lot of understanding of this weekend is the work that you did at UCLA with a lot of the students there and some of the classes that you were leading. If you don't mind, just in a couple of quick minutes, kind of share with everyone, how that came about and how that experience was, and the courses and curriculum that you taught there at UCLA.
Sure. First, when I was asked to go there, it was at what's called the EMT, the Engineering and Management Department of the college, and I was asked to go there to assist in helping people become, and this is the way they put it to me, helping people become more human. And as silly as that sounds, and this is no, as I said at the event, this is no slide on engineers. But what that department consisted of only about 20% undergraduates, meaning younger students, and the rest of it were people that came from the various industries, Jet Propulsion Laboratory, NASA, and things like that. And these were engineers who started out as, I say, just engineers doing the projects and that kind of thing, and through seniority and through time were moved into management positions. And of course, they weren't people. Engineers aren't necessarily or people. So they asked me to come in there and help them move into being able to interact with people more and manage people more. And what I found out was it was, in the very beginning, it was kind of tough because these people were smarter than I am. I mean, they literally were rocket scientists. And so I developed a course, and the first one was called Re-Engineering Yourself for the Next Century. And there were leadership courses and things like that to help people become more, so they can interact with people more in their various areas. And my course quickly became #1, and I stayed there for 7 years. And I loved it because I like to watch the transformation. And it gave me the opportunity to practice what my craft is, which is psychology, but neuropsychology, which is quite honestly a quicker way of getting the result. And the courses, I mean, they still hold up today, and I love the work, and I love the change that people get.
Excellent. And I know that part of this is part of the foundation that you started with those engineers and the work at UCLA, and I believe that a lot of this foundational training that people are going to have the ability to participate in as Rippln players and as Rippln fans, you also share with a group of at Harvard Business School.
Yeah, that was actually just about 2 months ago, and they've asked me to come back and not just do it again, but to do it to the faculty and the student body. So I'm coming back to do that. I'm really excited about doing that because, again, this is all, my expertise is people. And I come from a place where it was, I was at the bottom of my life, and what changed my life was somebody taught me about, we know it as personal development now, but it was a psychology shift, a way of thinking in myself. I was homeless at one point in my life, and what changed it was somebody introduced me to it, and now it's my turn to pay it forward and to do the same for as many people as I can.
Very cool. Well, I'm excited about getting into it, and I've been through it, and I'm so excited to share it, and more importantly, be able to give this to the Ripple and see thousands of people get the same impact and be able to incentivize share it. So if you would kind of give us a framework and understanding of really what's in store for everyone.
Well, sure. And let me start by saying first why I think, and I thank you, Brian, for bringing me into this, quite honestly, because I'm excited for a couple reasons. Number one is from the technology side of it. This is so right on time, and this is, as you've already been experiencing with, like you said, over 1.2 million people, and you haven't really even launched. But this is a way to touch many, many lives and change the planet, for, at the risk of sounding too dramatic. And why it's so important now that those of us that grasp these concepts that I'm about to share with you is that getting it now and getting the head start, for lack of a better term, and making those shifts in ourselves. As I said before, as we shift ourselves, then our teams grow better, and then we get to make a bigger influence. So, you know, as you've been staring at it for a little while, the E factor is effectiveness training. It's the effectiveness factor. Factoring is just multiplication or geometrically growing something. And I have a couple of, this is a new word I like to introduce people to, and that's called pro-sequences, in the science of going further faster. And the pro-sequences are really just the opposite of consequences. You know, consequences are the unfortunate or unresourceful or bad things that happen as a result of poor judgment and poor activity that we've done in the past or that we do now. We're going to have consequences in the future. Well, pro-sequences are just the opposite, or the antithesis, and they are the positive things, the great things that we do now, which are going to produce the results that we want for the future. And that's what we want to do. We want to at square one, which is where we are right now. And those of us that are fortunate enough to be doing this right now, you know, you've made a choice to be at the right place at the right time with the right, you know, company, right product, right everything. All the stars are lined up. So we're at square one, so we might as well create some pro sequences. And having said that, this is what I truly believe one of my foundational understandings or beliefs is those of us that dare to dream while the rest of the world is having a nightmare, we're not only going to inherit the prosperity that we want and the abundance and the wealth and the health and all that stuff, but we're also going to be the ones that are going to lead the masses to do the same and make the world a better place. And again, at a risk of sounding too noble, I think it's our duty to do that. I said this before, I love my country. There's no better place, and it's not going to be our government, it's not going to be our president that's going to change things. It's going to be brave people like ourselves that are willing to step up and do something different. And this is a no-brainer. The spoils ultimately go to those that not only choose to do the mental and the physical and the emotional work, but actually do the work consistently. And I say that's the law because anything that anybody listening right now or anything in our lives we've accomplished or achieved, we've achieved because we've done more than the average person or more than somebody else. If you don't do, you know, it's in the Bible, it's everywhere else. You reap what you sow. But the challenge is things get in the way, and we don't always sow. But you know, in this day and age, a lot of people are wondering why we're not reaping. Well, the reality is most people aren't sowing. And here's how things are. Everybody wants more. We all want better health. We want more wealth. We want more abundance. We want more friends. We want more love, all that stuff. And all of those things it's how we function as human beings. From a psychological aspect, it's in our DNA. The day that we stop wanting more is the day that, you know, it's over. We're dead. We all want more. It's from the time that we come in, kicking and screaming from the womb. We're wanting more food, more love, all that stuff. And so the challenge is that what gets in our way, I say that the thieves of our dreams are procrastination, hesitation, fear of failure, fear of success, laziness, complacency, and the list goes on and on. Excuses and all of those things. And the challenge is, even though most people, to the vast majority of people, are smart enough to recognize that this is just the truth and the way that things are, these things happen to most of us unconsciously. We rationalize and we do things, and we say to ourselves, we convince ourselves that this is how we are, and a myriad of reasons why we're not operating at the absolute best. But the reality is, and we know this as personal development, PD stands for personal development, if that was the answer, because a lot of people just believe that, wait a minute, I just have to you know, develop myself better and become better me, and that's the answer. And that way, if I have more confidence and that kind of thing, then I'll do better. And if that's the truth, then why do so many people miss the mark? Because I've been in this industry for a quarter of a century now, and personal development really isn't it. As a matter of fact, if you ask most people what is personal development, they're not sure. You know, and I've done that. I've interviewed a lot of people. They're not sure. And that's not the core answer. It does help. It keeps you going from time to time, but the reality is, if that's the answer, why do so many people fall short? Willpower is not it. That's a myth. I say it's a myth because it doesn't last. It's only temporary. Everybody gets excited, and everybody's willing to do the work before they do it, and when they hear about it. People get excited about any business opportunity, or people get excited and they're willing to say diet when they need to lose weight, and they're willing to do it when they're upset or when they're excited. But that wears off. The pain and that type of enthusiasm wears off, and it's the same with motivation. I say it's a myth because if I have to motivate you or motivate myself before you do anything, then just you lose half the battle. 50% of the energy is lost just in doing that, and that gets old and tired, and again, it doesn't last. So the truth of the matter is that the ability to have and sustain an extraordinary quality of life goes to those who are the most effective at what they choose to put their focus at. And what that means is whatever you choose to do, whatever it is that you want to do. And again, I should back up for a second. You know, by profession, I'm a psychologist, and I've had a practice in Los Angeles for many, many years, and I've had the privilege of working with a lot of people all over the world and helping people with fears and phobias and emotional challenges that you know most of us couldn't even imagine, and helping people put that behind them in a very short amount of time. But the reality is, people hire me, if you will, to coach them. As you said, Brian, you know, I've worked with the best of the best, if you will, and everybody comes to me for the same reason. They want to be able to be more effective at what they do, what they want to do. Why they don't, you know, perform at the level that they know they can is what they come to me for. And over the years, what I've helped them do through systematically is help them change that in themselves. And this really is, in my opinion, the keys to life, the keys to abundance, the keys to health, wealth, happiness, and joy, and all that stuff, is to learn how to be more effective at what you choose to do. People choose to do something, but they don't always do what they choose. And effectiveness, as it were, my definition is, it's just the ability to consistently execute a specific skill and produce a predetermined result at a level far beyond the norm. What the heck does that mean? There's a distinct difference between the people that achieve more at a high level and those that dabble and move slowly. And I'm not accusing anybody on the phone of doing that, because obviously you've made the choice, you're here, you're excited, and now it's just time to take it to the next level. And that difference lies mainly in their ability to execute their specific skill at a level more effective than the norm. And what that means is everybody wants to do something, but it's the people that step up and do it better than the others that step out. And better doesn't necessarily mean that it's perfect. It just means they do more of it. You know, we've all seen it. We've all experienced it where somebody starts something, they call it beginner's luck, and they go crazy, and certain people do really well at things. Well, it's been my business to study what it is that the specific things that people do, that people that are successful and achieve more and are more effective. And life is much simpler than we've been led to believe. And, you know, in all of this that I'm saying, and I know I'm moving fairly quickly, what I want everybody to know is that what we've done is distilled it down to the simplest things. It's much simpler than we've been led to believe. If you increase one's effectiveness in any given area, then you increase their ability to create and grow and achieve and sustain their business and their lives. And that's what we're all about. And again, at this juncture, with this company and what we're doing, the reason I'm so excited is because the vehicle that allows us to do this is, you know, don't get me started. And I don't really understand everything. I'm just learning everything, but it's just off the charts. Effectiveness is a skill, and just like any other skill, it can be learned and enhanced. We all know how to drive a car. We all know how to, you know, tie our shoes and comb our own hair, brush our teeth, and those are all skills, and we learn them. And the process or the ability to be more effective in our thinking process, our psychology, our behavior is a skill, and that's what we can teach and that's what we can learn, and everybody needs it. Obviously, discipline is part of it, but discipline, most of us fall short on it for all the reasons that I talked about before. We make excuses, that we rationalize and all of that. We don't like to admit it, but it's just really there. If you take a look at if you don't have what you want, or you're not well along your way and achieving it rapidly, then a myriad of things are going on, and one of them is effectiveness and discipline. And I always say that discipline is consistently doing the prescribed activity, even and especially when it's difficult, no matter what. If it's dieting, there is a prescribed amount of food or time when you should be eating and or not, and exercise and that kind of thing. And you gotta, discipline means doing what is prescribed and doing it no matter what, even when it's difficult. When it gets difficult, that's where most people fall short. So having said that, here's kind of how the foundation and the understanding of what we call the E factor, and that is we all have areas of our lives that we don't be motivated or pushed or persuaded to take action or to do something, and those areas are where we're generally the most effective. And the example I like to use, and as I say this, if you're listening to this, see and think about something in your life where you don't have to be coerced or influenced or motivated to do. If money and time were no object, you'd do it all the time, or you are more effective. And the analogy I like to use that I shared with everybody on Saturday was that when I was a kid, I was extremely lazy, believe it or not, and I did not I didn't do well in school. I didn't do my homework. It was a battle for my parents to get me to do my chores at home, and I hated to get up in the morning. To get me up to be at school at 8 or 9 o'clock, whatever time it was like pulling teeth for my parents. And I just hated it. I remember laying in bed and wanting to cry because I didn't want to get up. But I loved to go fishing. We grew up in Hawaii, and the ocean was right there, and I loved to fish. I couldn't tell you what my 7 times tables were, but I could tell you every fish in the ocean and what they ate and where they were and how they behaved. And if I knew I was going to get to go fishing the next day or soon, I'd get my chores done, I'd get my homework done, and I'd get up at 4:30 in the morning before the sun came up, without an alarm clock. And I'd be out there, and I was very, very effective at those things when I was excited, when I was in that E factor mode. And so that, everybody has that. And again, I ask everybody that's listening today to think of that. What are the areas that you're the best at? And guaranteed, those are the areas that you're the most excited about, that you're the most confident about, that you have the most fun at, that you are as I said, the most effective at. The E factor is the systematic transfer of the emotions, the feelings and movements, and the mindset, meaning the thinking process, of the things that you're already effective at and enjoy, and to move them into the areas that you're not, or that you desire to be more effective at. Said differently, even in this venture that we're about to go, I use this in business a lot, and as I said, in personal lives as well. But sales, for example, I have the privilege of working with a lot of sales teams, and you get people that are, like I said, fear of failure is the biggest fear of human beings, and they're not as effective because they get nervous, or they get stage fright, or they get lack of confidence and that kind of thing. But when you find out what it is that they are extremely excited about, and you make that transfer and you show them how to do it, then guess what? They bring that same emotion, feeling, movement, behavior, and all that stuff over to the other side, and they become more effective. And these are the broad strokes, guys, that I'm sharing with you now, but I just kind of want to wet everybody's whistle to let them know what they're in store for them, because everybody has that. If you got a heartbeat, then you got it, and that's what we're going to show you how to do, is to change it over. And those of us that have chosen to step up early, the writing is on the wall. So the E factor is a step-by-step, hands-on effectiveness training course designed specifically for business, personal development, and emotional growth. And all that means is whatever it is that you want to do. Obviously, we're talking about a business application here right now, but you've got a life as well. health, wealth, happiness, joy, and all the 5 areas of life that are so important. That's what this is. That's what this is for. And this is the secret weapon, for lack of a better term, that I've had for a long time in my own life. And it came from, I had to do it myself, for myself, to take myself out of the situations that I was in. And then I got to teach it to other people. And that's what I love to do. I made this silly little picture here, but most of us are more effective when we're focused and in the zone, and everybody knows what the zone is. You know, you think of it as, you know, Brian, your background is athletics, and you see basketball players and sports figures, they're in the zone. Well, we've been in the zone where you can do no wrong. You know, the green lights are you know, you get all the green lights all the way. We're in that zone. Well, you're optimistic, you're hopeful, and all those things, and you're certain. Well, the zone is just, it's created and sustained by emotion. And how you feel about it is going to determine what you do and what you have ultimately. And you have what I call an untapped reservoir of emotions. We all do, but most of us don't know how to use them. We're at the mercy of whatever happens. You know, whether you're the kind of person that watches the news on television, or you're influenced by peers or so on and so forth, or things that you never even knew were happening that happened in your childhood that caused you to be the way that you are. Those things are all emotions, and to master those emotions is a skill, and that's what the E factor is. I said this before, motivation is a myth. What you would rather have, rather than motivation, is the default mindset or thinking process of discipline, drive, happiness, optimism, and it's the Rosetta Stone of the human nervous system, and subsequently one's ability to be, do, and have more and go further faster. What the heck does that all mean? It means that when it's time to do the difficult stuff, or to do the stuff that you don't necessarily want to do, that is necessary to get what you want, whether it's lifting a weight, 100 times, or picking up the phone, or getting up early, or dieting, or doing whatever it is. You don't want to have to motivate yourself in the moment and remind yourself to do it. You want it to be a default so that it becomes automatic. You don't have to think about it. That's when you're in the zone. That's when it's effective. And that default, as it's the psychology, is what we call a geometric personal psychology shift. Big words, but all that means is an exponential or a geometric growth in how we think. Because as we think, so we feel. And how we feel is what we do. And what we do is what we get. And that lineage of what I just explained there is customizable. It's personal to each and every individual, and it is a skill to do that, and that's what we're going to show you how to do. And I'm taking up a lot of time, so I'm sorry, but I'm going to move very quickly. And here's some residual benefits of what I call process sequences: confidence, pride, certainty, happiness, drive, and pull. Oh, don't get me started on that. That's what you and I and Russ, Brian and I and Russ were talking earlier. I sleep about 4.5, maybe 5 hours a night. Every night, and I wake up excited and energetic, and I've done that for, gosh, almost a quarter of a century, and it's a skill that can be taught and learned, and I'm really effective at that, and, so all of those things, drive and pull, that's where it all comes from. And obviously, in the end, increased productivity. And right now, at this time and place where everybody is right now that's listening to this, that's what you need. That's what you need to do right now, is to be more productive at what you do. And I know everybody agrees with me, but I know it's beating a dead horse, but it's what I want to remind everybody that we're doing. So the E factor is simply this. This is just the broad strokes of it again, to help you figure out what it is that you really want. Whether it is in your business, in your life, or whatever that kind of thing is, what you really want, and even in this situation, in terms of your business, in terms of what your Ripple and what you're going to do to make this thing fly, to get whatever it is that you want to make happen, what is it you really want? Find out where you're most effective already. And that's what the E factor, this process is. And by the way, it's a move at your own pace. However, I'm going to push you. I'm I'm your coach. I'm your mentor through this process. I'm going to push you. I'm going to ask you to do some things. And as you do them, it's kind of the wax on, wax off process. You will get the result. And then next, find out what stops and what hinders you. Your own personal gremlin, if you will. Whatever it is in your life that keeps you from operating at your absolute best, let's find it, pull it out, cut its head off, and send it skipping down the road. And then lastly, condition your nervous system to, like I said, to automatically default to your passion, so that you don't have to think about it, so you don't have to
to remind yourself of it. You know, I wake up in the morning now and I don't have to go, oh God, I got to get out of bed. It happens, I'm already excited. So I've used up a lot of time. I have a saying, and that is that life is exactly what you dare to make it, and fortune favors the bold. And the trick to life is to boldly step up and dare to make your life magnificent. I'm so excited to be able to share this with you, and not just share it with you, but to give it to you to apply to your life and your business. And it is, as I said, user-friendly. And I'm going to turn it back over to you, Russ, to tell everybody about the how they can make it happen for themselves as well. And guys, as I said before, a better you makes a better us, and together we're going to change things. We're going to change the world. So thanks, guys. Thanks for allowing me to use up your time, and I'll throw it back to you, Russ.
Awesome, Joseph. We appreciate it, and I just want to kind of say from my standpoint, because I had a chance. Because I've been working on the marketing and stuff behind the product, I had a chance to go through it earlier, and it really is amazing. Like, I've been to a lot of events, I've gone through a lot of products, and I think that you did an amazing job of giving the type of transformational experience that typically you can only get like in a live event, and putting it into something that we can all get that training internally. Like for me, I was watching here on my computer. You know, some people I'm sure are going to watch it on their iPads or whatever, but it's just it really is a neat thing that you created, can give us that kind of transformation, which is exciting. And
thank you. Let me just say one more thing on that, and thank you so much for that, because that was our outcome. We wanted to make sure that I love live events. I do live events, and it's my life's blood. I just love doing it. And when the event is over, you don't get to take me with you. The reason we did this, and Brian, I want to thank you for bringing me into the fold and you know, really helping me step up to make this happen for everybody, because I've been wanting to do this for some time, is so that people can learn at their own pace, but learn at a rapid pace. And Brian, you said it earlier before, that transformational learning is to learn quickly, and you have it with you. It's not just something that, gosh, I went and I saw this and I got excited. Now you have it in your back pocket.
And I think another thing to really note is our entire vision and focus is this is a foundation. This is a building block. And, you know, transformational learning, I think Joseph is going to be helping spearhead a lot of additional stacking on, you know, getting laser focus and getting laser coaching on different aspects of our life, whether it's vitality, which we were just talking about, Joseph, or, you know, whether it's financial, you know, or relationships, for instance. But there's so many different transformational learning that we all want to have to give us the edge, so to speak. But we all have to have a foundation. And, you know, the foundation of the house is usually the hardest part of the house to build. And one of the things that we know is, you know, in order to create that lasting impact on the world and to create that ripple effect that we're all looking for, is if we're more effective. And that's what transformational technology has done for us in today's marketplace. I mean, 8 years ago, we weren't using our smartphones to do the things that we are today. You know, 8 years ago, we weren't communicating as quickly and as effectively with people all around the world. Today, we can do that because of technology, because of these platforms that have been built, and then also because of transformational strategy. But you have to really go back to the root of it, and it comes from being effective. That's what transformational technology and transformational strategy do for us. But the reality of it is we all have to start with ourselves. And, you know, I have a saying is that if you build the man, everything else falls into place. And that's, you know, exactly what this is, a base core module, so to speak, of a lot of, you know, journey and process that we want to lead everyone on, because we understand that even though some people have access to great learning, and there's a big difference in learning and content, you know, and I think what we're doing is setting up a foundation for people all around the world to be able to plug into to get the results that they want, and also get the correct, accurate information that can stack properly on top of the E-factor.
Now, what I want to mention too, because I know the question I've been receiving a lot as well, is people are excited for two reasons. One is everyone's excited to go through this course and to get started with it. I'm going to talk about how to do that right now. But also, as those of you know who have looked at the compensation plan or understand it at all, there's obviously, or understand any of the mission of the Ripple, there is also a commission plan in place for those when fans and people on your teams and in your Ripples invest. And so it's kind of a twofold call to action. And I think the first one obviously is for you guys to go and get this this coaching and this training and get started on, because the more you understand, the more you internalize it. First off, you're going to have those dramatic changes in yourself, and second off, you'll be able to go back and as you are telling people in your Ripple about it and showing the experiences and the life transformations you have, you'll be able to share those things. It'll help you from a sales standpoint as well. So first thing, Brian, correct me if I'm wrong. If for those who are on the webinar right now who are already powered up, they're not able to purchase inside of a player account. Is that true? We may have lost Brian here.
That is true. What we're doing is we're making special promotion. Can you hear me okay, Russell?
Yep, we hear you now.
Okay, perfect. What we want to do is for all of our players that are participating is we want to give you not only incentive to share this program, so when you share it with a fan and a fan purchases it and accepts the offer and engages in the E-Factor, then we're going to give you a copy of the E-Factor for free for being a player within our community. So that's one of the benefits to have. What we recommend is for you to go to the fans and the people that are engaged with you, that are the closest to you, and share the E-Factor with them, share this presentation with them, get them to engage and purchase it, and once they do, then you'll have a copy free for yourself.
Yeah, that's awesome. So that's one thing I know my first mission right now, what I've been working on this week actually as well, is going out and getting people who are my fans who haven't played up yet. And for me, I personally have people that are close to me that I know need this and want this, and that's who I'm going with first. And then second off, like we said before, is now it's time to, now this is the first coaching offer inside the Ripple, and it's time we can actually go out there and start sharing this with others, and that's exciting. And one thing that I want to mention, you'll notice inside of your members area that when you're able to sell at least 3 of these in a given month, you actually double your commissions on any of the coaching offers, which is exciting. And so that's the other thing to understand is just that part of this as well. So I think now you guys, now you kind of seen this. Now it's time to go out there and start and really start seeing how the Ripple can work. We've spent so much time in the mission of, first off was building out our Ripples and seeing what our social graphs look like. Now is the second part where we can actually start participating. This is obviously the first of the coaching products, and in the very near future we have some of our loyalty products and things like that coming out. But I'm just excited because this is the first one. I actually I actually saw Joseph the very first time probably 5 years ago at a Tony Robbins event. And I was blown away with him at the time then. And then about 3 months later, I sent my wife to Tony's event, and she saw Joseph as well. And she was, when I told her that I met you last weekend in person again, Joseph, she was like freaking out. She's like, I should have come to Dallas. I could have seen Joseph. And so, because she's never met you personally yet, and she's like super excited. So she may make it to the next event that you're going to be at, so that she can have a chance to meet you in person.
I look forward to it.
But you definitely had a big, profound impact on my personal life and her life as well, and our marriage. And so we appreciate you, and I'm just excited for everyone to have a chance to experience you in this way through this new offer. So I'm excited for everybody. I think again the next step is log into your Rippln account and start playing the game, you guys. The game is always on, and now it's time to really start seeing some rewards through your Ripple. And one other thing, Brian, if you're still on, I want to make sure I get this correct. I know the first set of commission checks are coming out very soon, and I just want to know, I know I had a bunch of guys on my team asking me this before the webinar, like they've seen the coaching offer, they're starting to sell and stuff like that, and they want to know, like, when is the cutoff for the very first commission check? Do you know the date on that yet?
It is the end of the week of the 18th.
Awesome. So all you guys, if any sales you make by the end of the week, the 18th, when the first commission check comes out, those are commissions you'll be receiving. So now is the time. This is not something to wait around on. We've all seen how quick the Ripple grew from 0 people to 100,000 to 1 million and beyond. And I believe that this coaching offer is gonna start flowing through the Ripple very, very quickly. And so now's the time to get your teams excited, get engaged, and start learning from Joseph. He's transformed the lives of millions of people around the world. And now it's a time for you guys to have that same transformation. So I'm excited. You guys are going to love this process. It's going to be a lot of fun. So thank you, Brian, again, for all your work for putting the Ripple together and making this all possible. And thank you, Joseph, for your coaching and your inspiration and just all you've done. And I'm excited to have a chance to share your message with my teams and with everybody that I care about.
My pleasure, and thank you, and everybody listening. We've got the tail of a tiger as far as I'm concerned, and it's time. So as it says on the screen, dare to make your life magnificent. Let's make it happen.
Awesome. Thanks, you guys. Thanks, everyone, on the webinar, and we'll talk to you guys all again very, very soon. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Russell.
All right, guys. Bye-bye.